Hello, everyone. This is Molly from the Casually Molly podcast, and I just wanted to introduce you to my friends at the Natty Cat. This one is for you cool cats and kittens who can't get enough of wordplay and fur babies. The Natty Cat's natural soy candles feature inventive scent combinations in glass jars with clever kitties on the labels. Hand-purred with locally sourced natural soy wax, the Natty Cat's candles wood wicks create a cozy fireside crackling sound, perfect for curling up on the couch. Remember, for all of your candle and scented oil needs, please visit our friends at the Natty Cat either on Facebook or Instagram.
Have you ever wanted to get your shit together? Scrap it, look through the lens and capture it. But first world problems are getting you down. Disabled, salty, needing a laugh to fix that frown. Well, you can do all those things and so much more. Just grab a seat in the chair or the floor. Sit back, relax, recline. Well, she drops another casual line. You're tuned into Casually Molly with Molly and Bergie.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Casually Molly podcast. I am your host, Molly Ambergy. Remember that you can casually subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, and you can also stream wherever you stream audio. But enough about that for right now. We are sitting with one of my new friends. So give it up for Reggie The GOAT Edwards. The crowd just goes wild.
Oh, okay, then. I was expecting like an applause track or something like that.
Absolutely.
I'm just gonna.
Oh, we got Nate in the back. Thank you. That's why we got somebody who's like a professional back there. That's appreciated.
Oh, okay.
But I appreciate you taking the time on a Monday to sit with me.
No problem. I'm glad to be a guest.
Yeah, well, I wanted to introduce, it's kind of funny because I was thinking about, I always talk about how I meet my guests, and I've got people from all over that come on, mostly St. Louis just because we're based here. But why I just like, first of all, I think you're a great comedian.
Thank you.
I think you're a lot of fun. Oh my gosh, no, of course. I know I'm a complimentary person, but I knew you were in St. Louis, and you can talk about this in a little bit, and then you moved to New York City. So I didn't meet you when I started doing comedy. And then this whole like COVID life happened.
Yes.
So you moved back. And so I was like, oh, there he is. But I met you once. I think you would come home from New York, and Chris Denman, who we were just talking to earlier, he did a show over at the Pub and Grill.
On the South Side, right?
Yeah, Southtown.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And I wasn't drunk, but I was definitely a little tipsy for sure, because we had all done the show. I'm really well. It was a good turnout, this whole thing. And I remember everybody was outside, and then there was obviously some people still inside, but the karaoke was happening, and I'm trying to remember, I was at the bar and you were up there with some girls doing some karaoke.
Yes, I remember that.
Destiny's Child Survivor came on.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like my 7th grade jam. So these girls like were messing up the words.
I was Beyonce too, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, trust me. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. And I just remember I was like singing along at the bar, and I didn't even know that you could see me, but you're like, you know the words, get up here. And I just remember being like, yes, absolutely. And then my boyfriend was like, were you on Reggie's Instagram story singing Survivor?
Somebody seen you? Somebody seen you?
I had like 5 people. I'm like, yeah. And they were like, do you even know him? And I was like, no, but when you're just like vibing with somebody, you got like that positivity going. I was like, I don't really care. I was like, he was there for moral support. And
right.
It worked.
I think you was Kelly. I was Beyonce. Yeah. I forgot who Michelle was, but I remember that. I remember because I put the whole thing on my Instagram, but I didn't know like people like recognized you off of it and stuff.
Well, thank you for making me Instagram famous. I appreciate it for my performance of Kelly. I've always wanted to be on in Destiny's Child, so you made sure my wish came true. But you're just like I said, you're a lot of fun. You've got great stage presence, which I really appreciate, and on top of it, you also just look like you're having a good time on stage, which like is wonderful to see because I feel like sometimes that does happen where, you see people and you're like, are they even having fun? But I feel like you're just having a blast and just speaking your own truth,
Yeah.
which I love.
I feel like that's like the best way to perform. Like I don't like to look as telling jokes. Like I want
Mhm.
to make it like a conversation. And
Yes.
like, like if it's a conversation, it's no real pressure to make anyone laugh. But like during a conversation, you will make someone laugh throughout, you know what I'm saying, y'all talking. So like that's how I try to connect with the audience, just make it like very like conversational and like of course you telling jokes, but it's like it's not like a typical like setup
Yeah.
punchline. Like it's just like let's just go with the flow type deal.
Exactly. Which
Mhm.
I feel as like somebody as an audience member, I feel like I relate to people who are like that. Not that like the typical punchline is a problem. Like everybody has their
Yeah,
own style,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Just for my personal opinion, like I love people who I can just feel like, okay, cool. Like even though there's a ton of people in this room right now,
yeah.
you have a you really do have a gift of making every person like listen to you in the room, which is something I really respect. So I wanted to kind of ask you, I mean, everybody on podcasts asks this, like what got you into comedy? Like, what's your story? How did we end up in Mid Coast from the beginning to now? So,
Well, I didn't really used to watch like a lot of comedy. Like even now I still don't watch like a lot of comedy, but
mhm,
that I did watch I think it was Eddie Murphy Raw.
mhm,
Um and I watched it like it was like I was probably at least like 5 or something like that.
yeah,
And like I tried telling jokes to like my auntie and my mom and stuff like that. And I didn't know if they was genuinely laughing or if they was like, oh, look at him trying to be a little comedian or whatever. But I always like knew I like making people laugh. So like always in school, I always was like the class clown.
mhm.
And like I that was my audience right there, just making the crowd, I mean the class, but shoot, you might as well say the crowd laugh. But I used to rap as well. Like it was always like rap for me too, because I always just like just entertaining, period. Like
Mhm.
some form of entertainment, like I get a kick out of just making people like smile and seeing them happy because it make me happy basically. So like always in school, I always just made people laugh all the way up to I went to college. I went to community college, I went to Flow Valley and I went to Forest Park. And like even then, like had the professors like, laughing and stuff like that. And it wasn't until in one of my college classes I met this guy. I don't quite remember his name, but he told me he was a comedian. He told me he think I should do comedy. And I always wanted to, do
Right.
comedy and stuff like that. But I never really like took it like I never really like jumped into it up until like I got fired from my job at Radio Shack. Cause I was working at Radio Shack for a minute, and once I got fired from there, I was like, all right, I gotta get in contact with this guy from my college class, cause it's like I don't really want to work a job anyway,
Yeah.
cause I was always focused like on music, just making songs and stuff like that. But I never like thought about like actually hitting the stage until I got fired. And once I got fired, that's when I got in contact with the guy, and he told me about this spot actually not too far from here. It's probably called something else, but it used to be called Lola.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like it's not too far from here. But it was that spot, and I'm 20 years old at the time, so technically I'm not old enough to get inside the venue. So I end up going there because they had an open mic every Wednesday. And I was like, all right, I wrote me out some little jokes. And they was just some long, drawn out like jokes, like paragraphs and stuff like this. And I'm like, dang, how do comedians remember all this? So when I went to the actual venue, the security guard he didn't want to let me in because obviously I wasn't old enough. But I was like, man, look, I'm just trying to perform,
Right.
tell some jokes and stuff like that. And he's like, I can't do it. And it wasn't until the actual host of the show, his name Javon Bibb, shout out to him.
Oh, I've seen him perform before. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's really good.
yeah, Javon Bibbs. It
Mhm.
wasn't until he came out and he was like, "Yo, what's up, man?" I was like, "What's up?" He was like, "So you trying to perform?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he was like, "All right, we can get you on stage." And security was like, "Well, he not old enough." He like, "Nah, we he good. We'll keep an eye on him." So every time I went in the venue, like I had like it's almost like I had a chaperone, like
Yeah.
like I was being supervised because they used to have me like in the corner of the club.
Oh my
Like it
gosh.
was nice. It was a couch and everything.
Oh,
I just couldn't
wow.
order like no drinks or anything like that. So I always just used to sit over there until they like brought me on stage. And when he finally got around to like bringing me on stage, it was like, okay, I'm in front of a crowd and I got a list of jokes that I went over. And it's like I just I guess just started my set and I just got to just saying these jokes. And I wouldn't say it was super good. I wouldn't say it was bad, but it was enough for Javon to be like, dude, you got some funny jokes. I think you should like come back next week and stuff like that. And he's like, make sure you keep like your older jokes and just keep reworking them and
Right.
stuff like that. Because at this point, me being a new comic, I thought like I had to have like new material every time I hit the stage
Yeah.
versus just like working and crafting like a nice little 5 minute set. So while I was performing on stage, it was like I didn't know like the light mean get off stage or anything like that. I wasn't told like none of the rules. So I'm just on stage and I see a light flash and I'm like, oh, he taking a picture. Like, so I'm just on stage and I'm on stage for a nice amount of time till I
Yeah.
feel like it's time for me to get off. Because I didn't know like when I heard 5 minutes on stage, I'm like, 5 minutes? I see people do 30 and 45
Right.
minutes all the time. Like, well, I just get 5. And I didn't know, like just being
Right.
a new comic, like, okay, then it's a lot harder than it looks for one. So he ended up, giving me some words of encouragement and stuff like that. Told me to come back. It was another co-host up there, Princeton Dew. He was
Mhm.
coaching me a little bit and taking me out on the road here and there. And then like ever since then, I just been so consistent. I just like
Yeah.
kept coming like every week. Like it was just Wednesdays every week. Then I found something else like it was on Thursdays and stuff like that. And then like I even went to like the Funny Bone a few times, which was on Tuesdays, but I didn't really start hitting the Funny Bone hard until probably like a year and a half after like doing comedy. So a lot of people kind of thought I was new
Yeah.
because I'm like, I'm not new. It's just like I was like performing in front of like a different demographic of people versus just coming out like to the Funny Bone where it's like a little more diverse of an audience and stuff like that. So that's basically how I got my feet wet with that. As far as like the music and rapping in general, because battle rap and music, they both rap, but they still two different things.
Right.
Like battle rap is more related to comedy than like actual music
Oh,
because
really?
yeah,
I don't know too much about battle rapping, so
yeah,
you're teaching me.
yeah, like battle rap is almost like it's comedy because you entertaining, you performing, it's live, but it's like it requires like a lot of muscle memory. I mean, similar to comedy, except like when you writing raps, like you don't reuse the same raps, you write new
Okay.
material every time you perform and stuff like that. So you still gotta entertain and captivate the audience as well. And I didn't actually start battle rapping until probably like officially until probably a year after I started doing comedy.
Wow. I was gonna say, where does this all take place? I see, you know what I mean? I see everything on TV, like I see battle rapping and stuff,
Mhm.
but I'm a big fan of rhythm and flow. And
Oh
I see,
yeah, I seen
oh
Rhythm and
yeah,
Flow
oh
before.
totally. Oh,
Mhm. On
100%. I get so
Netflix.
into it.
Mhm.
And they do have a battle rap section, like they go back and forth. And I
Yeah,
always kind of
yeah,
wonder
yeah. That was my favorite part.
yeah. Oh, well, I just love when they like
Uh-huh.
burn people, and I'm just like, oh my God,
Yeah,
how do
cause
you think of
cause
this?
it's
Yeah.
like roasting on a way and
Yeah.
a more intense level because it's like battle rap, like you could dig up dirt and find out information about people like Facebook
Damn.
and stuff
Ooh,
like that.
okay.
Sometimes it'd be like personal, like it'd be like a feud with two other battle rappers. So that could add like another aspect in there as well. It's so many like variables when it come to like battle rap, but I mean YouTube, like you could just watch it all. They even got movies based off battle rap, movie called Body, and it helped you kind of understand the dynamics of like battle rap a little bit more, and it's actually pretty funny too.
Okay. Oh, now
hmm
I got a movie that I can watch tonight. I'm gonna
Yeah,
be
you
like,
should.
Reggie, I watched it. I want to know
Yeah,
what you
you
think.
should check it out.
I think that is so cool. I want to kind of, you said like, correlating and stuff entertainment wise. Do you feel like one of them has like helped you influence the other? Like do you feel that being a comedian has made you a better battle rapper? Or do you feel like being a battle rapper has made you a better comedian? Do they kind of work hand in hand? Just because I know that's like two big things for you.
Yeah,
So,
it's fun. I get asked this question like often, and like
okay.
it really does, like they really do like help help each other, because like battle rap is like it's a certain timing and like in which you got to hit the punchlines, in which you got to flow, and it helps like with the comedy as far as like timing on when to land, and like it's it's just very interesting because comedy, like it helps the battle rap with like controlling the crowd, and like what I'm saying, you don't you I be on stage a lot, so like battle rap, people don't battle rap as often as like comedians do comedy on stage. Battle
Mhm.
rap events are put together, like depending on like what event you doing, like that it could be like once a month, twice a month, or something
Okay.
like that. As far as like comedy, you could like, especially in New York, you could do an open mic. You can do like 4 shows a day. You know what I'm saying? You're not doing battle rap just like 4 times a day
Right.
like you doing comedy. So it's you used to being like in front of people on stage. So like you can't really like, stage fright is not really like a factor
Yeah.
like for me when it comes to that, because like I'm used to being in front of people. It's just like a different form of entertainment, but like I could easily like use like my comedy to like put that in the battle rap to make people laugh. But I've been trying to focus on bringing like the battle rap over to like the comedy realm, which I haven't quite mastered yet. I'm still trying to like integrate it. Like, okay, how could I bring this over to comedy? Because like a lot of people don't really like understand battle rap or know what it is, but I've been trying to like figure out ways to kind of like incorporate that in my set. But like as far as bringing comedy over to battle rap, I think I mastered that pretty well, or not mastered, but I'm good at,
You're doing it. Yeah, you're making
yeah.
it happen. I think
Yeah.
that's the best way to say it. Like,
hmm
at least I just like that you're correlating the two, and I bet you're not going to have any problems if you're bringing comedy to battle rap. I
hmm
mean, it's probably going to again work
Yeah.
hand in
The
hand in the
dynamic's
workplace.
so similar, I promise.
Yeah, I believe you. So let's talk about, you've been here, you did make a move to New York City.
Mhm.
What was the deciding factor? Like, I know, LA has a comedy scene too.
Yeah.
My mom's originally from Queens. I'm a little bit of a favor
Okay.
to
Your
New
mom from
York. Oh
Queens?
yeah, even though I was raised in Cincinnati, it was just a different experience for me in the sense that like, I have an Italian mom. She was very strict. Like
Mhm.
people meet her and they're like, "Oh, you're a New Yorker." Like she just has that vibe. She's always been very much like a bargain hunter. I don't know. We just always had that. We just had that background. So I always had very much a love for New York.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately right now I know things are kind of in
Mhm.
a different balance with COVID, but it's just like one of my favorite cities. And I think it's just because I have family that hails from there.
Yeah.
But then I've been to LA too, and I've seen the comedy scene out there.
Mhm.
What made you decide like why New York City versus maybe the West Coast or maybe even Chicago?
You feel like you reading my mind right now, cause
Really?
like, cause
Okay.
those was like the places that was like really like in my head as far as like the deciding factor.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like I hit the ceiling in St. Louis.
Mhm.
As far as like growth wise,
Sure.
cause
Yeah.
I feel like, okay, like I pretty much performed on every stage that's around, and this was like, I think a little bit before Helium opened.
Mhm.
So it was only like a few like clubs to actually perform in and stuff like that. And like I won like competitions and stuff, Funny Bone competition and then like other little local competitions that was held around and stuff like that. So like I got to thinking like, I'm seeing all my friends and stuff like that. They having kids and they got families and stuff. I just seen like stuff changing around me, and I was like, where do I see my life going in like the next few years if I
Yeah.
continue to be like in St. Louis? So I'm like, I need to like branch out and go somewhere, step out my comfort zone, you know what I'm saying? To kind of make me grow up, put my
Yeah.
back against the wall to where I have to, like have to survive. So I have to figure out something. So I always like would travel out to New York. I probably went to New York probably like 2, maybe 3 times.
Mhm.
And just to, kind of scope out the scene and like do
Yeah.
shows, make a Facebook status. Hey, I'm out in
Oh,
New
you're in
York.
New York, yeah.
Take some pictures like, yo, I'm out here doing it big. And I'm
Yeah.
just at this little open mic his shit like fuck
But you're
it.
like, here I am.
Yeah, I'm like here I am. So I always like been a couple times. And Chicago was always like a good option for me too, because like I actually got family out in Chicago, and Chicago is a very dope market like for
Mhm.
entertainment, period.
Oh, yeah.
So it was that, and then I thought about LA, and I'm like, I never been out to LA, although I would want to go. Um, but I felt like I was like, I know the comedy is good out in LA, and I know the comedy is good out in New York, but New York is also like the mecca of hip hop, battle rap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so
Mhm.
it's like it instantly I was like, there's no other place for me to go. Like, you know what I'm saying? With what I'm doing right now, this will be the best place for me. And it was really like a spontaneous decision. It didn't require too much thought, because I knew if I thought about it too much, I probably would have thought of a reason not to go.
Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah.
And like it really like it was so smart. My mom didn't even think I was going, because I left when I was 24.
Gotcha.
So I'm 27 now. So when
Mhm.
I told my mom I'm going to New York, she like, boy, you ain't going nowhere. Quit playing. I'm like, okay. So now she see like a flyer I got with a going away show. I just
Mhm.
made a going away show, and I put all my homies on there in the comedy game and stuff like that, like, and just like pull up. Like
Yeah.
this a going away show, this is gonna be big. So my mom like, boy, what you doing a going away show? You ain't going nowhere.
You're like,
Like, all right. So I did my going away show, and that was like my first ever like produced show I put together, and it was so the freak out. Like it was like
Good for
everybody there,
you.
all my friends and stuff
Mhm.
was there. So it was like real good getting to like perform and stuff like that, even although I didn't leave till like a month after the actual show, because I kind of was like just stacking up money,
Yeah.
just for the move and stuff like that.
Well, moving's expensive, so you gotta, yeah.
Yeah. So like then my mom seen all my bags packed, and she was like, "You leaving for real?"
You're like, mm-hmm. Yeah, I am.
And my mom, she very like overprotective.
So is mine. Yeah. Mhm.
And like she was like, "You about to go out there to that big city? You don't know nobody." Da, da, da. Like I don't have no family or anything like out in New
Mhm.
York, but I was like, I'm just gonna have to do it. And I was like, let me find a spot on Craigslist and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I think I had like a general idea of what I wanted to do. I said, okay, I'm gonna need a flexible schedule. What could I do for a flexible schedule? Boom, Uber. I
Yeah.
could drive and pretty much, just make my money. And then if I got a show to do, just go do
Go
my
to the
show and
show.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I packed all my stuff, threw it in the car, and on Craigslist, I messaged like a lady or something like that, like, and it was like $800 in the Bronx, some little spot I found. I was like, well, it sounds good to me. So I just hit her up and was like, yo, I'm gonna be getting this spot and renting this space or whatever and stuff like that. And she didn't even like, I guess she didn't believe me. I guess like on Craigslist, I don't know, maybe people get calls all the time, like they
Maybe.
about to
Yeah.
move in a spot or something like that and never show up. So like when I left, and I'm driving out there, all my stuff in the car, and I hit up the lady like, yo, I'm gonna be here at such and such time. She like, who is this? I'm like, oh snap, I am not gonna have no place when I get to New
Oh
York.
my God. Well, was she at least ready? Did she have something
She
for
when
you?
I talked to her again, she was like, oh, okay, then. Well, she like, well, because the time I would have arrived would have been like super late. So she like, could you like come like around like 6 or something like that, which was cool because
Okay.
I was kind of tired. So I kind of stopped on the road for like a couple hours and stuff like that. And then I probably got there probably like around like 7 or 8 or something like that. So I'm just in this big city and I'm just like, all right, well, here it goes. And I park in front of the apartment and stuff like that. It's nothing fancy. I wasn't looking for anything fancy. I'm
Just
just
somewhere to be and
lay
like
my
lay your head.
because I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm probably barely gonna be here
Mhm.
anyway. So I seen the spot. I was like, okay, well, it looked like the pictures I seen. And I just moved all my stuff in and sure it and then like after I moved my stuff in, like Uber is different out in New York
Yeah, it
because
is.
it requires like a different type of license and a training course and
Yeah.
everything. Like here anywhere else, I think like in St. Louis, I think all you need is a car.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
drive for Postmates and it was so
right,
easy. I was like, here's my social
right.
security. They sent me a card. They did all of
Right.
that. And then I'm sure like I went to New York by myself just for 4 days because I was
Mm-hmm.
kind of I was looking because I was in theater and stuff. And I remember being 20, I was 27 and
Oh
I was
yeah.
like, maybe I'll go and
Mm-hmm.
like look around New York. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember going by myself and I ended up just taking the subway everywhere because the Uber
Yeah.
is just so I was
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna cat, and everybody's like, it's the thing. They're like, you're in a city by yourself, and I had like a few friends that were out there, so
Yeah.
I would go like meet somebody for coffee or like go do something. But what's great about New York is that you're able to navigate by yourself there because
Yeah.
everybody else is doing it.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
everybody has this like concept, and it is a big city, but there is something like really like I don't know about you, Reggie, but there's just something like really like I don't know, like adrenaline wise, like you're just popping around.
Like
Yeah.
fast paced sort
Yes.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
definitely get that vibe in New York. And it's like everyone has that energy and it automatically makes you that type of person.
Right. It just speeds like I remember being just like, oh, I got on my plane or I flew out and I got like this really cheap flight on
Mm-hmm.
Priceline.
Priceline, you got a
like-
hotel and a car and
Oh
everything.
my gosh. I literally so my friend lived in Brooklyn.
Oh
So
yeah.
and this is like how New York is. I'm sure you get it
Yeah.
because you pay rent.
Mm-hmm.
He's an actor. He's in LA now with his partner. But at the
Yeah.
time we went to college together and everything. And he's like, yeah, you can just stay at my place.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like it was beautiful. Like it was really pretty, but it was like 4 people. Like it was like a husband and wife in one
Mm-hmm.
room. This like other guy who was in business in the other. My
Mm-hmm.
friend was an actor. The kitchen is like this small.
Yeah.
Everybody's on top of each other, and the apartment is $900 a person.
Oh
Like
my
it
God.
was nuts.
That's New York for
That's
you.
New York, and it's I wasn't used to the Uber pool thing either. So they're
Mm-hmm.
like, "Do you want like?" I'm like, "Whatever's cheapest." I'll
Right.
I'll sit with this. Like this person's like, "I'm really sorry, I have to do my work," and I was like, first of all, I can't believe somebody just apologized to me in New York City. Like
Right.
this is nuts. Like what is happening? And I'm like, so everybody's just on top of each other. That's just
Yeah.
and it's normal.
Mm-hmm.
I remember there was one time I was walking. I forget where I was walking to, but I think I was meeting up with another friend of mine up there while I was there, and this girl just fell on the sidewalk. So, like me being me from the Midwest, I was like, "Oh my god, are you good?" And this man just walked right
past
over
her.
her.
He stepped over her.
And she's like, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "St. Louis." Like I didn't know.
You
what to
know what's
say.
funny? People like without you even saying something, like people will know you from like a different place about just
And
simply how
yeah,
your manners are like towards people. Hi, thank you, appreciate you, open the door for someone. They be like,
yeah.
where you from?
Yeah. That's what happened. It was the
Yeah.
craziest. Like when I was in LA, we went to the Comedy Store and
Mm-hmm.
it was funny because I said thank you after the guy checked my ID and he goes, where are you from? And I was like, St. Louis. And he goes, I'm from Kansas City. I was like, what is happening?
What did your ID say for him to say where you from, though?
So, well, it said Ohio was because didn't have my license changed yet. And I was like, because that also took like a hot minute for me to do. But yeah, he's like, we were just really nice. And I was like, oh yeah, Ohio, Missouri, like the whole Midwest vibe,
Yeah.
you got that going on. But it is funny. Now, I will ask you though, so you were saying that New York is the rap battle mecca.
Yeah.
How was it? Like, did you have like a favorite battle that you had or something? Like, how did that
I
all
always
go down?
had like a select few battles that I always watch. One of the biggest battle rap leagues in the world, Smack, is called URL TV.
Okay.
It's on YouTube.
I love YouTube. I YouTube videos all the time.
Yeah, so that's where that league is really based off of.
Okay.
And they branch out to other like cities, states out the country.
So there's a league and everything.
Oh,
wow.
yeah, like
okay.
think of leagues in terms of like comedy clubs in a sense.
Okay.
Because like leagues, they put together the events and stuff like that. So that's basically how you get booked and everything. And you got like smaller leagues that leads up to like bigger leagues. And of course, the bigger leagues is the bigger fish, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
More, people that's been in the game a lot longer, a lot of vets and stuff like that. So it's like a ranking system. So you kind of got to like work your way up and stuff like that. So the battle rap league, I end up getting in because it's almost like a community, like kind of like I always related to like a biker gang or something like that, or anything period, like just a group of people within a league, because it's different leagues, and like these leagues, they compete against each other, but we compete against each other within the league and then outside the league, and we bring other people from different leagues, but we all work our way up to, like get to like the bigger stage in front of like a lot more people and stuff like that. So the battle rap league I'm with, like it's Coliseum. It's based out in New York and stuff like that. So they be looking out for me. It's like, booking me battles and like giving me the push and make sure I get like the look I need and stuff like that.
Sure. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I feel like I'm learning so much. I don't know about everybody else.
And I actually had to learn it because I didn't know like people like got into like battle rap leagues and like groups and stuff like that. Cause like in my head, I'm like, I battle on this league, but it's like, nah, we want you to be like a part. Like you with us, you know what I'm saying? So we gonna all help each other out and stuff like that. So cause it was so hard, like booking a battle rap event and like on the East Coast, like when I first got there, because like, and I understand like now, I didn't quite understand then, because I'm like, look, man, I just wanna battle, like work, because the comedy part, that was a little hard kind of working my way.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah. How was it like compared to like working into the battle rapping versus the comedy? Yeah.
Okay. The comedy.
Okay.
Because the comedy, it was interesting because it's like, for one, I'm new and I know a few people out there and stuff like that. But I want to work my way from the ground up. I don't want like no easy handouts and stuff like that.
Right.
Because that's why I moved out here for.
I want to earn this, and I want the respect for it. Exactly.
I want to earn it. Like, I appreciate help, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But it's like at the same time, I don't want to just be a sidekick to anyone, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
I just want to just build my stuff from the ground up, have some foundation. So like, of course I ask people like, what's this, that, and the third, but like in reality, all you gotta do, you just gotta be out there. You just gotta go.
Just
like,
do it.
You really just have to just go to different like venues and just perform. Cause like, although like I'm new to New York, I'm not a new comedian.
Right.
But it's still like, kind of like starting over because like don't nobody like
you got to network.
It's like I don't have like no TV credits or anything like that to where people would be like familiar with me and stuff like that. So like, even like when you tell people, oh yeah, I'm this, that, and the third, I'm a comedian, I'm trying to perform, it's like we all
are trying to do this.
We all trying, and it's like, I know it gets overwhelming with like so many questions, because how do I get this? How do I get that? And just looking back on it all, like really all you like really got to do is just find a circuit. You got the internet you could use, and then like from there you meet people. and you hear
It's true.
things, and you just gonna have to just go with the flow. It's not a fast process. It's not gonna happen overnight. But it's like you just got to connect with people, and then like with me, still being new to New York, I still kind of had the experience to kind of like get my foot in the door. I'm like,
Right.
so when I did get on stage, and like you don't get much time on stage, in New York, especially like if you new to New York, because like your time is like in 5 minute intervals
Sure.
sometime, because it's like it's so many comics trying to get up that like your time is like it's just real like restricted. It's like it's not much you could really do. But if you got a 5 minute set, you can like leave your footprint, and like to be like,
Sure.
okay, he's funny. You know what I'm saying? We want to see him again, because the people, like, if the event, like the venues, sometimes they got open mics, they actually do like actual shows on the weekend.
Yeah.
So you could like get booked that way and stuff like that. So it's like you got to work your way up with that too. Battle rap, it was just really for me just getting in touch with the right people, because like same with comedy, everybody as a comedian, battle rap, everyone's a battle rapper. So I was just reaching out, like, look, man, here I got some footage you could check out. Like I'm trying to do a battle and stuff like that. So the first battle rap event I got booked on the East Coast, it wasn't even with like the battle rap league that I'm currently with now. It was with a completely different league. And it was out in Philly, actually. Actually, it was in New Jersey, Camden, New Jersey,
Okay.
which is like a bridge away from Philly. So it's
Okay.
right there next to each other. So I was so excited to, what I'm saying, get booked on my first
Sure.
battle rap event, and I had to drive out there. It was like a couple hours away from New York, and I drove out there with one of my friends who was supporting me. And like an hour away from like the actual event, my opponent who I was supposed to battle said he can't make it. And I'm like,
What?
dude, I'm like, I didn't drove all the way out here. Like, how come you can't make it? He said because he didn't have like a ride to get to the event. So I was like, man, where you at? Cause I'm like, I didn't came all the way out here.
I will just find you.
If I gotta pick you up to take you to this event, I will.
Mhm.
And he was like, that's cool. So he told me where to meet him at. He had me meet him like downtown in Philly and stuff like that. So picked him up. He hopped in the car and stuff like that. And we drove like right across the bridge to the event, or what I thought was gonna be the place of the event, because like the address that I got, it had me like in like a little dark corner. I don't know where I was at. I was in
Oh
Camden,
my
but
God.
where I was at, it was like all like vacant buildings and
Oh
stuff
my
like that.
God.
So I'm like,
You're like, where am
maybe I
I?
put the address in wrong. And I'm looking at the address and I'm looking at the flyer. I'm like, nah,
This is
this
it.
definitely the right address. So I'm like, let me call the person who booked
Right.
me. So when I called them, he was like, yo, what's up? I'm like, is this the right address? He's like, oh man, we right around the corner. I'm like, where at? Send me the
Yeah,
address.
exactly.
So he sends me the address, and I'm like, I don't know where I'm going, because it's no like venue like in the area from what I see. But
Right.
so he gave me the address, and I park, and then I hear like music and
And you're
people
like,
cooking
okay,
stuff,
so something's happening. Yeah.
and it was like somebody's house.
Oh.
It was a battle rap, and battle rap events are typically like venues and stuff like
Sure.
that. But this was like a event, and it was going on in like the backyard. So I'm like, I walk back there. I'm like, well, I'm here.
Well, I'm here. I'm in
I'm
all
here. I
this.
was like, well, this going. I mean, it's okay. As long as I get the battle, I'm cool. It's like it don't even matter. So I check in with the guy who booked me and stuff like that. He like, oh, okay, cool, cool, cool. I'm like, my opponent here. We came together, so
Yeah.
we here. Because battle rap events, two people got to show up in order for the battle to go down. So we there, and the battles happening, people serving chicken plates and smoking,
Oh,
drinking.
yum. Yeah.
And it was like a cool event. And like like every time somebody performs, a group of people will leave. And I'm thinking, like, when are we battling? Like, is we battling anytime soon?
Exactly.
So,
I came all this way.
yeah, and it was like after like 5 battles, and majority of the crowd like left. They was like, "All right, y'all, thank y'all for coming out."
What?
I was like, I say, hold up, bro. I was like, I ain't battled yet. He's like, what's your name again? I say, oh my God. I'm like, I'm Reggie, bro. I'm supposed to be battling double stacks. He's like, oh, where he at? I'm like, he
right here.
He was like, oh, okay then. All right, we're gonna take this event in the basement. Cause so many people left. It was like, all right, let's go in the basement. So we go in the basement, it's the cameraman, and it's like a few other people. And it was like, all right, y'all, we gonna let's make it happen. And I smoked him.
Good.
I smoked him. I ain't gonna lie, I smoked my opponent. And it wasn't that many people there, but it was like I still got to perform, and it's still like camera footage of it like being recorded and stuff like that. So the ride home was even more funnier because I had to drop my opponent off, and like it was like, yo, you good back there, you know? But it was cool. Like we still homies to this day. And like after that event, like typically it don't take that long for battle rap footage to come out. But this footage was taking a really long time, to the point where I was like, I don't think this footage coming out. So the guy who I actually battled, he told me that it's a battle rap league that he represented in New York called the Coliseum, which is the one I'm currently with now.
Mhm.
It was like we could reschedule the battle to happen over there, you know what I'm saying? You know, and had the footage and stuff like that. I was like, that's cool. I say, I'm gonna use the same bars. I'm not finna rewrite anything new. He's like, I will too. He lied. We end up rescheduling an event, and the event, it was good. He even mentioned the fact that I freaking picked him up and dropped him off, which was very funny in the battle. His name actually Double Stacks, real good guy from Philly. So that's how I end up getting with the Coliseum Battle Rap League.
Oh my gosh. So you like smoked this guy, picked him up. Like that is like the craziest story. You guys end up in this basement, and now you're in this league.
Mm-hmm.
So did he get you back, I guess?
Actually, he didn't get me back.
Oh.
I won again, but in my opinion, but it was a good battle. It was a good back and forth. It was close. It was close, but I definitely, came with it like in like that battle actually got, because battle rap's typically like 3 rounds.
Mhm.
And we actually did 1 round when we went to Coliseum, but I just combined all my 3 into 1. Because like 1 round is probably like 5 minutes, 3 rounds is sometimes like 2 minutes a piece. So
Gotcha.
a minute over, it ain't too bad.
Yeah. So it's like basically like comedy when you're trying to do a smaller set, and you're trying. That's when people are like, oh, I have to do a set in 2 minutes or 3 minutes. And it's amazing how long a minute actually is once you start writing. It
really is. And then you got to factor in the crowd reaction and stuff too. So, well, not in actual battle rap. Like when you get crowd reaction, that's good. Like, because you could write for 5 minutes, but your actual round could be like 10 or 15 based off, how the crowd going crazy, and you got to stop rapping.
Oh, trust me. I would love to see you battle rap, Reggie. I just like love the idea of it. It's like one of my dreams to just even attend one. Like, so literally, if you ever like, once this is all over and this is like happening again, or if it's still happening, I don't even know.
Yeah, I just was at one last night.
Oh my God. I just want to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Like I love rap as it is, because people don't realize too, like rap is like poetry, it really is. And like, I loved writing ever since I was a kid, and I was like, I can't, but I do appreciate it. And seeing it. And so I can only imagine like kind of like the poetry of being able to smoke somebody. Like, it's all right here. It's just like you said, it's like a roast battle. We just had there's a guy named Jay Light who we just did a episode with last week, and he's like known for his roast battle. And I remember one of the things I said was, I was like, oh, I feel like I couldn't be in a roast battle because I'm too nice. And he was like, not true, because he's just like, it's all about like taking like something personal and kind of flipping it with your words. And I was like, oh, who knows? Maybe I have a future. I have no idea.
I think it's worth a try.
It's worth a try. See what happens. But why I bring that up roast battling or not, is I feel like that's probably what goes into rap battling is like
Mhm.
how you said finding somebody in social media or finding something in social media or just
Yeah.
like getting them to
Mhm.
their core and you're just like,
Yep.
whoa. And
Mhm.
I'm sure that's like quite an adrenaline rush.
Oh
So
yeah, especially when the crowd react. It's like because like it just like jokes, how jokes are exaggerated.
Mhm.
Same with battle rap. You could take something and manipulate it any way you see fit, and the crowd is just gonna eat it up.
I love it.
Who cares if they believe it or not?
Yeah.
Sometimes they act like if it's they actually will believe it if it's some truth to it and like they hype it up like oh like it'll get crazy. But yep.
That's so cool. I
Hmm.
like I feel like I've learned a lot about rap battling
Oh
now.
yeah.
So this is gonna be so you did one last night. How'd it go?
Well, I didn't do one.
Okay.
I was at the event last night, but it was a
Okay.
pretty solid
You
event.
were like, where
Uh-huh.
was that?
Uh, it was it was on Seven Hills Drive off West Florissant at this place
Okay.
called the African Palace.
So I know because I knew where West Florissant was because I used to go to the Laugh Lounge.
Oh
So I was
yeah,
like,
it's
yeah.
not it's like literally probably like 5 minutes away from the Laugh Lounge.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Right
So
after you cross over the highway, just literally
I
like
was like,
five
just give
minutes.
me a starting point from there, and then I'll be able to. Especially being from Cincinnati, there's
Yeah.
definitely still places in Missouri that I'm still
Hmm.
because people are like, oh, and I'm just like, oh,
Not really.
refresh me. Help me out. I was like, I'm more than willing to go because, like,
Hmm.
being from Cincinnati, I go back there and I know that like the city streets just like the back of my
Yeah.
hand. But then
Uh-huh.
here I'm still like learning stuff. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I know the Laugh Lounge. Just tell me, tell me which side we're
Yeah,
going on. So
if you like I'm like if once you pass the highway, like Laugh Lounge, it would be on your right. But if you just keep straight for probably like 4 more
Mhm.
minutes, it's like Seven Hills Drive. You just
Okay.
make a right and it's like a little plaza with the African
Oh,
Palace. Yeah, that's actually where I had my first battle rap event.
cool.
It was with the Battle Rap League St. Louis Street Report. And they the
Nice.
one that hosted the event last night, which was pretty solid.
Oh, see, there you
Hmm.
go. So this is all happening. So guys, like pay attention. If you like if you like battle rap and I'm learning, now we know this is a place. And if did they advertise a lot? Like
Yeah,
about
they promote the battles.
all
Hmm.
right. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm definitely gonna look this up now and be
Oh
like,
yeah, you
hey.
know Nathan Orton.
Yeah, he's one of my good friends. I
Yeah,
love Nathan.
yeah, Nathan. He came out to a battle rap event before. It's so funny because Nathan he just stood out. He was
Oh,
just
I'm sure I'm gonna stand out like a
they
sore
like
thumb. It's
because when he
okay.
came in, they like, who lawyer is that? I'm like, oh my god. And he stood behind me like while I was battle rapping and stuff. So we had like a good time.
Oh yeah, I
Hmm.
love Nathan. I got
Yeah.
to catch up a little bit with him when he came back to do
Oh
Alonzo's
yeah, yeah,
show. He
yeah.
was like, "Do
At
you
the
just want some
Helium.
comp tickets?" I was like, "Yes,
Hell
please put
yeah.
me down, thank you."
Uh-huh.
But that was a good show. He did a really good job on that too.
Hmm.
It's always good to see Nathan.
Yeah, I talked to him at the Funny Bone when he was up here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing. Now that you're back, hanging out in St. Louis. I
Mhm.
mean, that's how we met. Where I was like, "Hey." Again, I was like, nice to see you. Thanks
Uh-huh.
for being the Beyonce to my Kelly. It's great. Now that you're back, I'm sure has it been kind of like a different transition being back? Do you feel like you just kind of like fallen back into being in St. Louis? I know it's kind of a weird time and I know there was, what kind of happened when you transferred back here and what's happening in New York? Do you know what's going on up there
Yeah,
still
yeah, I
or
still got my spot out in New
Mhm.
York, in the Bronx. I actually got you know Stefan Hightower?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's who staying in my spot and stuff like that, holding it
Nice.
down. He out there
Good
working.
job, Stefan.
Yeah, he doing good out there. But it got to a point like and I was gonna have a real good year. Like the first, I know like for a fact, the first 3 months of 2020 was gonna be great for me because I had the emails. All I had to do was just wait on the date to like perform, and then like I always heard about like the COVID stuff, but I didn't know like it how serious it was until like they just shut everything
That
down.
was me too. Yeah.
So I was like, I stopped receiving the emails like for the like the confirmations and stuff like that, and I'm like, well, it's safe to assume like this not happening no more. I'm not doing this. It's like the shows, like it was like a ghost town
Oh, yeah, I bet.
because everyone was like inside, and like when it really hit, like a lot of the food stores, they was sold out of almost everything. They was packed. I was like, this is
Yeah.
really like happening right now.
Mhm.
So it was like I wasn't able to like perform, and it's like I'm being confined to my bedroom that I
Yeah.
pay $850
Yeah.
every month just to look at the walls.
Right.
So it's like
Right.
it was like it was hindering like my creativity because it's like I can't really like create just being like I could only do so much. It got to the point where I stay on like my new spot. I stay like on the 14th floor. I
Yeah.
took the steps every day, up and
Yeah.
down the steps every day.
Good for you.
And just like when I like go, when I do my cooking videos, my
Yeah.
cooking video, like the store right across the street, I just run down steps, run to the store, like and just come straight back. And it was like I need to do something. Like I can't just be in here. So Stefan actually came up with the idea of staying in my spot until I got back because like I knew I wanted to leave, but I also knew like if I leave, I would have to continue paying this expensive rent and not be here.
Hmm.
But I don't want to like necessarily give the spot up and like have someone else like stay here.
Right.
So Stefan, he was staying at a spot, and the lady couldn't afford to keep their
Right.
spot open because of everything that was going on.
Hmm.
So she basically tried to like downsize their spot
Yeah.
and have him like pay like the same price and stuff like that. And he wasn't really like trying to do that. So he was like, see if I could, stay at your spot while you gone and we could go half on the rent. I was like, that ain't a bad idea. So the lady who I rent from, her name Kat, she very nice lady. She said, yeah, I'm all for like helping the people out. Like I
And
don't mind.
especially this time, you got to
Yeah,
come
yeah. She
together.
don't. She's like,
Totally.
I don't mind if you like stay here. Just make sure you know what I'm saying, tell them like the house rules and stuff
Oh
like
yeah.
that.
And you're like, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we end up working that out, and it is when I was doing like online battle rap tournament,
Oh
and yeah,
really?
yeah, it was an
Yeah.
online
How did
battle.
that go?
I won at 250.
Oh.
When I won at 250, I said, yeah, I'm finna go back to St. Louis. So I packed up a few of my things and just drove back. And I feel like, it kind of like brought me like kind of closer to my family because I haven't seen them like in a while. And I was meaning to get back out to St. Louis to see like my family and stuff like that. But I be getting so caught up in like the entertainment. Sometimes we get so caught up in like the entertainment business, we forget
Yeah.
to actually live life, our actual life, the stuff that inspired you to even do comedy in the first place.
Yeah.
I feel like we be so caught up in like
We just talked about this in the last episode too.
yeah,
So,
it's
mhm.
like you gotta enjoy yourself too. Like it's okay. Like I know like comedy is like therapeutic to me, like making people happy. It makes me happy, but at the same time, it's like do some other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like don't forget to like reconnect with family and just go out and have some you time.
Yeah.
So I feel like it brought me closer to family. And like when I got here, I was doing like some soul searching kind of really trying to find out who I am like as a person and just connecting with myself and just taking this and it was and then break I felt like it was needed because it gave me it was like some rest like
Yeah.
okay, now I don't have to think it's hard. I don't have the pressure of being in a fast-paced city to like moving all around. It's like, okay, I'm good. Like I'm back in my comfort zone. Even though I'm comfortable in New York,
Hmm.
but it's like I'm comfortable,
Yeah, because you're
comfortable,
at home.
more
You're at
comfortable.
home.
So
Yeah.
so it's like okay, so that was cool. And then the fact that like it started being some shows that was being produced like when like they start opening up back bars and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, okay. They got comedy going out here. I
Yeah.
was like, let me, get a little taste of that,
Yeah. You see
So
what's
it was good
happening.
kind of like, getting back on stage because the first place I did out here, it was like it was outside on the parking lot on the back of this pickup truck with this speaker hooked up to it. But I
Okay.
didn't care, and people was out in the audience in the cars, and they was listening. I was like, well, this
All
is
right, let's do this.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I did that, and then like I did other little shows like Will O'Donnell. He had me on at Parrots Bar,
Yeah. We
and
had
that
Will
was like
on.
one of the first venues that like
Mhm.
kind of opened up a little bit, and then everything else kind of just started opening. So I was just doing those.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying. There's something about just like being at home and like
Mm-hmm.
connecting with people. I I kind of felt I'll be honest, like I was not happy when we had to be under lockdown. And I understood how you felt because
Mm-hmm.
I was working, I was doing stuff, I was hosting,
Yeah.
you're in your grind and you're just like, I hate to use the word grind, but you're just
Mm-hmm.
I hate I'm grinding. I am so like, I mean, I feel like I'm back when people are like instant messenger and they're like hashtag
Grinding.
grind. And it's
Um,
like, I'm like, are you really grinding or is this for a post? And I know that some people are going to feel called out on that, but guess who like really doesn't care? The point is this, is that I was just really excited. And then when everything shut down, it was weird because I was an essential worker and I was working at a hotel. So like
Oh yeah.
everything died.
Yep.
And so
I
the
know my mom worked at a
yeah.
hotel.
See, so what hotel does she work at?
Jury in.
Jurian? Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
not too far from here.
Yep.
It's and mine was a boutique hotel, which
Okay.
is now closed. It was called Hotel Ignacio.
It's closed.
Yeah, so I lost my job during COVID, which was like I had been thinking about leaving because I wanted to really focus on doing like
Mm-hmm.
comedy and writing and doing things and being at a hotel, and your mom can vouch for this, is that
Mm-hmm.
it's just the hours are nuts. So
Yeah.
I would miss like going to clubs on weekends because I was maybe like working on the week. And my
Mm-hmm.
boss was like really helpful. And if I had a show, I could try to plan in advance. But as you know, like sometimes you can't plan in advance for
Mm-hmm.
opportunities that
Yeah, because
arise.
it just come out of nowhere.
Well, yeah, and just like even going and watching a show, like, I wanted to be able to like watch people because
Mm-hmm.
I feel when I watch people, I mean, I learn more by
Yeah.
watching
Yeah.
people. And there's only so much like Netflix you can watch. I'm like, I got to go see like a live show and like see somebody perform that's actually a
Mm-hmm.
professional. So, but at least like I was like, right, I have this day job, but at least if I have the day job, I'll be able to focus on what I want.
Yep.
And so then when you have that taken away from you and all you have is this job that was really just paying the bills so you could do what you really wanted, it becomes, I'm sorry, this just took like a very sad turn,
No,
but
no,
like
no.
it just becomes very depressing. So I was like, where am I gonna go with this? Like, what am I gonna do? And I
Mm-hmm.
think the podcasting medium at least saved me where I could like interview people and kind of like document this time period of what people are going through. So it's interesting to hear you talk about coming back here and being in New York and kind of the difference. But I know, I mean, me having to wait to do comedy probably isn't the biggest problem right now. There's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of other things that are going on.
Right.
And
It
like,
really is.
it's a really like a first world problem. And
Yep.
I see that more now. But I think it just comes when you just like love something that you're learning and
Mm-hmm.
watching. So it is kind of interesting here in the Midwest how we do have a little bit more of an opportunity to be able to like perform in
Mm-hmm.
a truck and like have an amp. But
Mm-hmm.
then I talk to people in New York and they're doing like rooftop shows, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
And
shows in the park and stuff like.
yeah.
Yeah, I was just
Mhm.
actually out there probably like not even a month ago, and I did like a show like at the Brooklyn Museum,
Oh,
and they had a
really?
nice
Cool.
little audience outside. It's pretty cool.
Like I was a theater major, so I like one time I produced a show in a hotel room, and I know that sounds like making a porno or something, but like it was actually at the Moonrise Hotel, and we
Oh,
had
I've been there before.
yeah, I basically just told them, I was like, hey, I want a suite because I have a play. It's going to be like 40 minutes long and 20 people are going to be in it. And they were like, yeah, as long as you pay for it, we don't care
Right.
what you do. And I'm like,
Right.
fantastic. And I was like 23 and I remember producing it. And it was one of the coolest experiences ever because
How was it a big like spacious?
so, and this is where I get really artsy, Reggie. So what happened was it was a
Here go the
bigger,
theatrics.
all the theatrics. You like walked in and I put a bar where like it was like one of those like foray like amours or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And so I put a bar in there, which was just like some cheap wine I bought at Aldi. And then I had people hang up their clothes in the closet. And then I had one of my actors preset in the bed and I made it like her room because we
Yeah.
didn't have a backstage. So we couldn't
Right.
like hide anybody.
Yeah.
And then I had the guy, there was like a separate room that was attached to it. So I had the guy for his entrance. I was like, you just stay in the separate room and then you can come out and knock and we'll let you in or whatever. But there was like a couch and then I had people sit on the windowsill. Like I'm sure the fire marshal probably should have like come in and did something, but they were like, it's fine.
What made you do it like there instead of like
I was so bored, Reggie, of like, and this is like nothing against traditional venues because,
Yeah.
in comedy we perform in
Mhm.
traditional venues all the time. But what I love that comedy's doing like outdoor stuff and things like that now, because I used to do that I ran a theater company for
Yeah.
5 years and I was so tired of seeing theater in a traditional sense. Like I was like, yeah, like the Fox is great and everything, but
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like, like I want somebody, if they want to see a play, this is going to sound very like method, but I want them to be part of real life. And
Right.
this was about a couple who was like meeting for dinner and going through like their life experiences together. And I was like, that would be in an apartment. Like it wouldn't be on a stage. It would be in an apartment.
That's a good idea. I
Yeah.
liked it.
It was, I mean, I still think about it to this, like on
So
Facebook
that
memories.
was the scene.
Yeah.
That was pretty
So
good.
people are just like in it. Like this one girl who reviewed it was so funny. She goes, I just forgot I was in a play for a second. And then when she came out and we're like, thanks for coming, everybody was like, whoa. Like I produced other plays before. Like I produced things in Fringe festivals. I was in the Chicago Fringe. But like being 23 and like I just gotten out of a breakup and that's when you like connect with your family and you're soul searching and all that shit that you do. And I will never forget that for the rest of my life, that I had people come and review that. And like, I don't know, it was just the craziest thing. And one of my friend that was in it, she's been in all my plays. She's been friends with me since then. So yeah, we've been friends for over 8 or 9 years. And I'm like, I can't believe that I asked you to do a play with me in a hotel room. And you were like, sure, no problem. But I guess like that comes with theater. So I love the idea that comedy is happening in other places, but at the same time, I want the clubs to stay alive and things as well.
Oh yeah.
So,
I like that idea. It's funny because like before like even like the COVID hit, we were doing like comedy on the subway. Me and like 4 other comedians.
get out of here.
And we was recording it
What?
and everything. We were just on the sub. We just hop from cart to cart to cart. And
I love that.
and we used to make like some decent like tips and stuff like that.
Nice.
Like
Good
we
for
would,
you.
yes. And it's like we'll do like 2 or 3 minutes, like on just taking turns, just swapping out, and like
Mhm.
people would just give us money. It was just a good time.
Yes. And that's like, I feel like that's the best way to, because like life is pretty comical, right?
Yeah.
I know this is getting like super deep here, but why I love that is that, especially in New York, where do the majority of like crazy things happen? Like one of the number one
Subway.
spots, the Subway.
Subway.
Like I remember I was on the last time I was in New York, which I haven't got a bunch because most of my family lives in the Midwest now. But the one
Mhm.
time I took 4 vacation days from my job and I went, I was on the Subway and I was on there late at night. And I don't really care just because like I live here, like I live right up the street. I live in the
Mhm.
city of St. Louis. I was raised by a woman who lived in, from Queens. So I was not, I don't know. I know my mom's probably not going to be happy knowing that I was on the Subway at night, but sorry, mom, I'm going to be 30. It's going to be okay. But I just put my earphones in and, people talk or, do things or whatever. And I just, I just remember this guy comes on the Subway and like, obviously like not really with the rest of the world. He's like talking to walls. He started talking to like the advertisement guy. I'm like, I'm going to let him just figure this shit out. And then sure enough, he just starts peeing on the Subway and I'm just sitting there while he's peeing on the and I just didn't even say anything. I was like, you know what? You do you. I got to get off at the stop. And then after I got off, I got to Brooklyn and I got lost in Brooklyn because I thought it would be.
Tell me you ain't ride all the way to the last stop.
Oh my gosh. I don't even remember what I thought. So my phone was like, get off at this stop on the Subway. And I did, but my phone was wrong. So I'm just like in Brooklyn. I don't know, like, So I'm just like, well, so I go into a shop and I'm like, hey, do you know where such and such is? And he was like, no, I don't. I don't even know what I asked him. And this guy was like, do you need a ride? And I was like, no. And he goes, are you sure? Look at this really nice. It's like one of those cab drivers that's really not a
Yeah.
cab. And he's just, I was like, dude, I was so, and I know it's really hard to ever see me pissed, but I was just so pissed, Reggie. I was like, dude, like, do you really think I'm that much of a fucking idiot
Right.
to like get in this? I was like, I can't even see through your windows, man. Like, what is wrong with you? And he was like, whoa, okay. It's like, didn't want to get this girl upset. And the guy behind the counter was like, that guy comes in here and tries to get like women to come with him all the time. And that was the best thing that I saw.
Right.
I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to Little Caesars. So I went into Little Caesars. I was like, listen, I'll buy a pizza. Can I just charge my phone? Let's get it. So this girl was so cute. She like, this is why I love Brooklyn. She just swept up this little space and put a chair for me, even this tiny Little Caesars, and was
Mhm.
like, you're going to eat anywhere. You're going to eat clean. I was like,
Mhm.
okay. I was like, it's a pizza. So I really could give two shits.
Right.
So I'm like, it's Little
It's,
Caesars.
I'm about to say it is Little
$5.
Caesars.
But this lady, like, she wanted me, if I was going to eat in Little Caesars and charge my phone, like, she was going to give me the royalty. So once I charged my phone, I got my Uber pool. And of course, this guy was like, what did you do? I think he said the same thing. He's like, what stop did you get off at? I'm like, fuck if I know. I was like, I'm not familiar with the area. And it probably was super dangerous. But you know, when you just kind of like hold your own, you're just like, listen, I'm not putting up with any shit. Like,
Yeah.
I need to know where I'm going. I'm getting this Little Caesars pizza, and then I'm getting my Uber pool.
Right.
So, you know, but it's, I don't know. That was always just like a fun time in my life. So it's always nice to talk to somebody who's actually like been there and
Mhm.
understands it. But I was about to say, how's it been navigating back in St. Louis?
Oh, it's easy now.
Jumping subway cars.
Really, St. Louis, you just got to watch out for other people. You really just got a defensive drive out here. 'Cause
Oh yeah.
people just be crashing and it don't be no other cars. It just be them. Sometimes they car just be flipped over. Like, what the hell were you doing?
Oh
you know?
my God. There was a
So-
guy the other day. I was driving in one direction on Lindell and he was coming and I guess somebody slammed on their brakes. And so this guy, I don't know if he was trying to get around them, but he went around and somebody was, I guess, turning. And so it was just like a three-way collision. And I'm just like, I'm just going the other way. Have fun.
Yeah. and like, to be honest, New York, driving out there is a little different. But
Yeah,
only thing that stops New York people from driving is so crazy is because like they traffic laws and they violations and them tickets and everything that really kind of like keep people like following like the law, because them tickets, that's one thing when I first went up there. Like I say the $5,000 when I went out to New York, and them tickets just ate my bank account up.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
Because it's like you got to move your car like almost every day because of the street cleaning.
Oh my God, I bet. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I was about to say, because some people I know live in New York, they have a car, some people don't. They're
Yeah.
just like, and it just depends on, it depends on what you do. Like,
Yeah.
and then you go to LA and everybody drives in
Mhm.
LA. Like I felt like the last time Jimmy and I went together, because he had never been, and I just remember we took Ubers because I was like, I don't know if I really like want to
Right.
rent a car. That's
Yeah.
like kind of a lot of money, but we can just kind of decide
Mhm.
where we go. And I was like, damn. I mean, they were used to it. Like, but everybody's following their dreams. Like one guy we had was an actor and he was like,
Mhm.
here's my IMDb. And then this other guy was like, I just like the weather better out here. He's
Yeah.
like, so I'm just going to keep driving Uber until the day I die. But that's the city. Like everybody has a story, which brings me back to the subway. I think that's kind of cool. Like, how awesome is it that you're just sitting there and all of a sudden, like you and your friends are just doing comedy
yeah.
and people get to see that? Like,
Yeah.
what? That's
Yep.
super. So, like, you should bring that here. Just like get on the metro link.
I thought I think it was Yale or somebody was doing comedy on a
Oh,
trolley or something like that. I seen something a while back and
Yale Hollander.
it
Yeah.
was Yale, right?
So speaking of like weird venues, so Yale Hollander was producing all these shows and like different spaces. So shout out to him. He's a fan of the show,
Shout out
friend
Yale.
of the podcast. Yep. Yale was like one of the first guests I ever had. And now we're in a studio. But when I first started Casually Molly, I knew I wanted to do something really kind of just like, just talking to people,
Yeah.
human interest piece. And I had Yale on and I live in the artist lofts and the recording rooms downstairs were booked. So Yale did an episode with me in like this hot ass conference room, and
Oh
he just
yeah.
like held his own. Now he's like been to the studio and he's done like all these things, but I feel like Yale has just grown with me
Yeah.
throughout how
I
this
like
made.
Yale.
He's just a good person.
Mhm.
But for those of you who don't know him, he kind of like that Jewish dad, uncle vibe, just a good person. And he was like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna produce this show on the trolley. And he said it as a joke on Twitter. And they were like, yeah, why don't you do that? And then the trolley shut down eventually, though.
Mm-mm-mm.
So
Yeah, he actually the first person that subscribed to my Patreon.
well, we got to talk about that.
Oh yeah, cause
Yeah.
I be doing like my cooking videos, even though I ain't really been managing it well. My apologies. But
Everybody just give Reggie a break, okay? Like
Give
it's
me
been
a
a
break.
crazy time. Like,
uh-huh. But yeah, he actually the first person that subscribed to that. But yeah, like the cooking videos, being out in New York, like I couldn't afford to keep buying food
no.
every day. Like it was like, all right, I'm gonna have to learn how to cook. And I didn't know a thing about cooking. Cause mind you, I stay with my mom. My mama, she cooks. She do all the cooking. I know how to cook simple stuff.
I mean, that
Like,
makes sense.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I didn't know
Go,
like
Mom.
about the seasonings, the recipes, and all that until like
Moms are good at that.
yeah, like when I was in New York, I actually had my friend Natalia. I hollered at her. She from down south Texas, so you know she know how to cook. And I'm like, look, I want to make some pasta. What do I do? And she basically just gave me like some because I didn't know a thing about cooking.
Yeah.
And she just told me just the simple stuff. And like I made it, I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then I started like looking on YouTube a little bit, and you could really learn how to do almost anything. You could probably be a surgeon just watching YouTube videos.
YouTube.
Like
I
a
think Tiffany Haddish has a joke about that.
Oh,
She's like,
really?
I went to YouTube University, is what she does.
You
Yeah.
could
Mhm.
really like if you really put your mind to it, you could literally do like
I believe it.
anything
Yeah.
you want to. Like
Tutorial.
if you read and you put your time and focus into it, you could really get stuff done.
I fixed my computer with the YouTube tutorials. So
Man,
and I'm not a technician. So
Exactly. See, so you get my point. So it's like I started watching that, and then I got to experimenting with my own little things. And it wasn't until like as far as like seasoning and taste, I couldn't quite like I always season it, but I always went off other people's measurements. But now I know how to season it to like my liking, to my taste.
Mhm.
So my friend, not my friend, this is my sister, my comedy sister, her name Kelly Kales. Her mama, when we had a show in Atlanta and stuff, and I was staying at her spot, and her mom knew how to, oh my gosh, she know how to cook.
I feel
really
like
good.
everybody's mom is like killing it at cooking.
Really,
so if
really?
everybody that Reggie is mentioning could just invite me over when like we can sit outside. I don't even care. I'm hungry.
And she had so many seasonings, and she was like, here, you could use this, that, and the third. Make sure you don't use too much salt. And I just started like seasoning the taste. And then I just like, let's start making videos, just recording. And like the first video I ever made, it was just like some seafood some steamed
Yum.
seafood that I had.
Yeah.
I had like lobster tail and fish and all type of stuff. And I seasoned, and I was like, I was just talking stuff like in like while I was recording the video. And then I put out the video, and it got like such a good response.
It
I'm
is
like,
funny.
All right, well, let me do another one.
Yeah.
And then let me do another one. And let me do another one. So I just kept doing them. So I got like almost like 60 episodes of like all like food that I cook. And like I get asked the question all the time, Reggie, do that food actually be good? And I'd be like, 9 times out of 10, it does. But I had a few meals to where I had to, I hope don't nobody ask me to make this for them. Because I don't know about this. Because I just be like, really, it really is like, I just like doing a commentary on making like the
commentary is the best part of it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not really watching it to like
Uh-huh.
learn how to make a meal. So if you did cook for me, I wouldn't be upset. But I do enjoy it because I just laugh. Like I don't know. If anybody, I can't really describe it. You just have to see it. So just look up Reggie's cooking videos
Cooking
and
with
you're gonna
Kush.
understand. Cooking with
Just
Kush.
go on my Instagram, Reggie_Kush. All my food videos, they on YouTube. You can find them anywhere.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. So we've run out of time today, but Reggie, you've been awesome.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
Oh my gosh. No, I could talk to you all night, but here's what I want to find out. So for those who are like, oh my God, this Reggie guy, super cool. You said we can find you at Reggie_Kush. Is there anything else that we should follow for you?
I got a website. You go to ReggieTheGOAT.com. ReggieTheGOAT.com. You can access my Facebook, my Instagram, my video content as far as comedy. I got all my battle raps listed, also as well as my cooking shows. But Instagram is if that's easier for you, go to Instagram, Reggie_Kush, REGGIE. _KUSH. I put all my content as well as upcoming shows that I have, battle rap events. I post all of it on there. So they pretty much follow me on that.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to, so we should all follow him afterwards. And then secondly, so we were talking about comedy. I always ask people who have been doing it for a while now, for people who are maybe newer or looking for advice to pursue comedy, what would you tell them? What would be your biggest advice?
This what I would say. I would say you'll have a lot of people like cause it get discouraging at times, especially like when stuff don't work how you want it to work and it don't go as planned. But the true thing is you just want to really just be consistent with everything. And like you see comics all the time, and like some comics don't get like, what I'm saying, super big laughs every time they touch the stage. But if you practice and you consistent at what you do, you will get better and you will build your audience, because everyone is not going to like your style or like your comedy and stuff like that, which is cool because comedy is subjective.
Right.
It's subjective. So you really just got to just keep going on stage, and like if you decide to like branch out to like another city or state or whatever, like don't be too like have too much pride to ask for help, because people like it like aside from comedy, real life does happen, and it can be like a lot of inconveniences that happen. But like, don't be afraid to like reach out to people and ask for help. But the most important thing you want to do is you just want to keep going. Like, treat it. Don't think of it as like a job. Just think of it this it's a lifestyle.
Sorry, that was great. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad we got this.
Yep.
That is and that's like so with Casually Molly, that's exactly what I would say is I was like, I don't want to treat this like a job. I want to treat this like a lifestyle.
Right. Yeah. Like you because jobs, you don't always enjoy yourself at a job.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like you work a job, you use that, and you use that to acquire what you want in life, and like don't really like factor in money in with everything, because like what people really want is happiness. It is a lot of people that got all the money in the world that's still unhappy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's more valuable than anything. Just having happiness, doing what you love to do, and just being comfortable in your skin.
Yes. And I think that's something that like people struggle with is that comfort level. But I feel like that's something you can always work towards. You know? So.
Yep. So I say just thrive, just be yourself, just be original, and just be consistent and maintain your happiness.
I like it. What a great note to end on. Oh, I'm so excited now. All right. Well, Reggie, I do appreciate you coming on. Remember that you can always casually subscribe to the Casually Molly podcast via Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, audio, anything that you just want to listen to the podcast on. We have a guest weekly, and Reggie got to grace our presence today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So I always ask, what are you going to casually do now that our episode's over?
After the show?
Yeah.
I mean, what I'm gonna do?
Live it up.
I don't know. Yeah, right. Live it up, I guess. Maintain my happiness.
Well, we're gonna go maintain our happiness. But thanks everybody for watching or listening wherever you're at, and have a great rest of your day.
Bye,
or your night. Bye.